Hello, this is Horror Studio One, and this is my unedited podcast. Hello, this is Horror Studio One coming to you once again with his unedited podcast. So today, without further ado, I'm going to share one of the craziest goddamn stories I have ever heard. And it actually isn't from myself. If you look at the title of this video, it talks about a true crime being committed. And the biggest witness to a crime is actually someone that is really close to me. And they just told me recently, I actually tried to get them to tell their own true story on my live stream that I just this past Sunday. But of course, they were not able to make it. But maybe they're a bit shy coming onto the live streams. And, you know, I understand that. But I just had to tell this story. It's so epic. And without further ado, let me tell you guys. So basically, my personal trainer that I have at a gym, I'm not gonna say what gym, but he's a young dude. He's like around 20 years old. You know, he's a shorter Asian male, and he's a really good trainer though. He's super hardcore. You know, that's what I like. He pushes me to do my best, and he doesn't slack off at all. He basically has this girlfriend of his who's actually is about to leave the country during this time. And this just happened like last week. And she was about to leave the country to go for a couple years in the States, I think, to go to school. And before going, you know, she was really stressed out. So my friend and his girlfriend decided they wanted to go meet up together in a location and maybe talk about their feelings and, you know, do a bit of the lovey-dovey kind of stuff, right, since they're together. So basically, it's like 2 a.m, and my friend and the girlfriend decide, hey, let's go to a nearby park and just, you know, chill and talk about our feelings and emotions for a while, kind of thing. So you guys know it's summer night, you know. They basically go to a park that's near the girlfriend's house. So it's around her complex, around her neighborhood kind of thing. It's a nearby park, and they go over and they sit down and they start talking. And it's around 2 a.m, 2 a.m. It's pretty late. And out of the blue, my friend and his girlfriend hear a gigantic boom sound, okay? So they look around, they're like, what the hell is that? You know, I apologize. I correct that. They actually goddamn see this happen. Basically, what happened was a dude was driving a truck that was going through the neighborhood and somehow hit this BMW car. So this dude, I'm not sure if he was backing up or, you know, maybe he was playing Pokemon Go. Who knows what happened? He basically slammed into this Mercedes parked in front of this house. So my friend and the girlfriend witnessed this whole thing happen. And the guy just blatantly drives off as if, you know, nothing has happened. And he wasn't like a truck driver per se. I thought he was until my friend later, you know, he clarified with me. He said that the guy was basically like driving one of those, you know, trucks that normal people would own as well, basically. So he drives off, and my friend and girlfriend are like, yo, what the hell? Let's go investigate, right? So they actually walk over to this Mercedes, and it's like the back portion of it is like totaled or something. Like it, and a bit of the roof I heard is like off as well. Like it's totally crazy. It was a huge sound, a huge crash. And they start following this truck, and they're kind of like tailing it on foot. And the thing was, because this happened in the neighborhood, basically the guy that was driving that truck lived in the same neighborhood as the girlfriend and as the guy that drove the Mercedes. So they end up following that car, that truck, back to the guy's own house. And the guy, you know, they're like standing there for a while as the guy gets out of the car, and the guy kind of like stares at the two of them, you know, like Reddit let's not meet alert, like shit like that. And, you know, he goes back into his own house kind of thing. And the girlfriend and my friend are like, what the hell should we do, right? They see the guy walking back into his own house. I guess he wanted to go out, maybe grab a Starbucks or a Tim Hortons or something, and then just had this accident, so he decided to go back into his own house. Basically, the guy and his girlfriend, they go back to the house where this Mercedes-Benz is parked in front of, and inside that house, they're having like a house party inside. So it's probably really loud, and it made sense that they didn't hear that large, you know, boom crash sound. So the girlfriend and my friend, they ring on the doorbell, and some guy answers, and they're like, hey, is that Mercedes parked in the front? Is it yours? Or something like that. And then the guy's like, oh yeah, it is. Are we being too loud? They thought it was like, because they were having a party, they were really loud, the music, the people and stuff. But they're like, no, actually, we just witnessed this total accident. And the guy just basically took off. And of course, the guy looks at his car and, was like, what the hell, right? And basically what happens is my friend and the girlfriend and the guy that owns the Mercedes-Benz all call the cops, and they all walk back to the perpetrator's house. And basically, well, I mean, what he told me was that after the cops showed up, they kind of walked for a bit, and then they had to go because it wasn't really their business, and I guess it was really late by that time anyways. So my friend and the girlfriend went home, but they said that afterwards, if they needed any questioning, they would call my friend and girlfriend. And then what happened after that was basically he heard from the people that the guy was arrested or something like that for, hitting the car and just leaving like that. A good thing about this situation is even though the guy did see the girlfriend and my friend, because my girlfriend is leaving the country, his girlfriend is leaving the country in like a little while, it should be okay. Like, shouldn't be too bad. So he's not gonna like stalk her and kill her and, yo, you ratted me out, you hoe, or something like that. So that's not gonna happen. But yeah, that is the scariest shit. And he told me, like, I was like, wow, that is insane. And I told him, I was like, you got to tell that story on my stream. But of course, he didn't show up. And then maybe he'll come next week and tell it for himself. But I have to get this off my chest. It's such an epic story, in my opinion. How these guys went investigating in the middle of the night. Just see, it's like a movie scene. It's so cool. Like, they're just having an emotional moment, and then this shit happens, and then like, the theme of the whole thing should be that they learned a lesson or something like that, and they kiss at the end or some shit like that. Just me like thinking like a movie director or something, thinking this whole scene in my head. But basically, that kind of reminds me of one thing, and I told them an experience I had. For you guys that don't know, I've been driving for a while. I'm not the best driver. I've done some stuff in the past that I really regret. Going over speed limits that I really shouldn't be going over, and I always apologize for doing stuff like that. And I've actually changed because I've been getting older. When it comes to driving, I'm less reckless and more safety prone, which I'm kind of proud of myself. But about 1 year ago, my first time ever, actually, I crashed my car. It's so crazy. I was actually, going to the movies with my girlfriend, and then I basically parked my car in front of the movie theater because there was nobody, and because afterwards we were going to go to like a nearby bookstore for a few hours, for like a half an hour, and then come back to watch the movie, right? Because we were actually really early when we got to the theater, and we were in front of the movie theater, and then I was like, because there was no one inside, we could see through the glass windows. I was like, hey, how about I go in and grab some tickets, and then, we don't have to park the car, because the only parking space was like very far away. I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna run down, grab the tickets, and we can go to the bookstore and then come back and watch the movie in half an hour, right? And then my girlfriend was, she's a really sticks to the rules, which is really, commendable, because to be honest, you're not really allowed to park there. It was just me being a dick, But I was like, hey, if you sit in the driver's seat, it would be okay, because she knows how to drive as well, right? But she was like, no, let's not do that. Just go park and go get the tickets. And I was like, why do I have to do that? It just doesn't, I was just stay in the driver's seat. If there's another car that comes, just drive off, like, Jesus Christ. But, she's not really confident with her driving, and I guess it was because it was my family's car. She didn't want to touch it. I don't know, okay? And she didn't feel like going down to get the tickets or something, okay? Because, I don't know, okay? So she wanted me to go park in a spot, walk a certain amount of distance, get the tickets, walk a certain amount of distance, and then drive off. Like, she wanted that to happen, okay? And, I was disgruntled. I was like, okay, fine, I'll actually do that. God damn it. So I was actually kind of emotional at that point. I basically went into reverse, and I didn't even look, okay? I just reversed, and I kind of like rolled back, and I rolled back into a fucking Mercedes, okay? If this happened, okay, it was like a bigger Mercedes car, and it was this older European gentleman and his two, I'm guessing, teenage daughters. They were like 17, 18 years old. And the three of them were there, and then they were just like, whoa, what just happened, But the impact wasn't great. It wasn't a huge impact because I didn't press on the gas pedal. I didn't do anything. I just kind of like rolled back. But I was an idiot. I didn't look in the rearview mirror. I didn't look in the mirror. I was like, okay, fuck. Like I just did that. And, you know, I really regret it to this day, but I did do that. And then I looked at the cars, like if there was any scratches or something like that. And there actually were no scratches. But the guy was telling me to pay him, I think like $200. Kept telling me like, oh, you know, your insurance is going to go up because you're under 25, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, man, it's cool. How about we go to our own insurance companies and we'll deal with that? Because that's how you should actually deal with it, is you go to an insurance company or you go to the cops. But because there was really no dent, and I think because it was like a I guess private property by the movie theater. It wasn't like on the road. We couldn't go to the police, and I think it was always because it was like a Friday night. I'm not really sure, but in my memory is we didn't go to the police. I was gonna go to the insurance people on the next working day and get it cleared out by them. So I told him that, and then he kept on urging me to just pay him the $200 and just forget about it. But I was like, no, you know, I made a mistake, but let's go to the insurance and get official people to look at this whole situation before I make any type of payment towards anybody, right? And, you know, I guess that's the fairest way to do this because, you know, even if I paid you $200, I mean, I could have damaged more than $200 more worth than $200. The damage could have been $500, right? And if it is, then I'll pay the fine. But I want someone to inspect the whole situation before I do anything rash. So I told him, I was like, yeah, I'll give you a call Monday. I told him to give me a call Monday. And then, you know, we took down each other's information, all the driver's license, all that stuff. And then we went to watch the movie. And my girlfriend was really she wasn't happy the whole time. But, you know, we ended up watching the movie, and I told my dad later that night what happened. And he says, you know, stuff like that happens all the time, especially in parking lots, I guess. Cars bumping into other cars, even though, yeah, this time definitely it was my fault. But the guy never ended up calling me back because honestly, there was really no damage on his bumper, man. It was like, he was just, I guess, kind of shocked and pissed that, you know, I kind of rolled into him, but there was absolutely really no damage on that. It wasn't as bad as what my friend witnessed. Like, that was hardcore, and the guy left. So I actually just got out and just started apologizing to this man who was like pretty pissed off. Like, but good thing I had a good attitude. You know, I said I was wrong, which I was. I was too emotional having an argument. So that was my mistake right there. But it just reminded me of that whole situation. And I'm not sure if I told this story on my YouTube channel before, but yeah, this just happened a very long time ago to me. And these days I just don't drive like that anymore. A lot more experience. And yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on my friend's story, because honestly, that is one of the most epic stories I have ever heard. When it comes to accidents and witnessing a crime, and just he basically helped everybody solve this crime. Like, it's so cool, dude. What he did, you know, he saved the guy a lot of money, and he saved the cops a lot of trouble. And yeah, he like saved the day, man. Him and his girlfriend, props to them. So that's my story. Sorry for speaking so much, but I just had to get it off my chest. But yeah, guys, thank you for listening to the podcast. Keep you updated every day at 1 p.m. for a new horror video. So I guess see you guys tomorrow for a horror video. And remember, guys, Sunday night live stream. So if you guys can make it, have your own stories, send me an email on Sunday night and come in and talk to me. Thank you guys so much. I love you all. Horror Studio 1 out.